Yes. Good morning, everyone's. We are back at it again. TDV's guest lecture series. It's a blessing to have everyone come through and give us their time. It's interesting because yes. Good morning, everyone's. I gotta mute multiple things. TDV's. Okay. So, as I was saying, lecture series, it's a blessing to have everyone come through and give us their time. There we go. We're just gonna. Interesting because we've got like 4 different things going on here. I gotta mute multiple things. Okay. So, as I was saying, there we go. Finally. Whew. I was like, there are too many things, people speaking at me at the same time. It's all me. Okay. As I was saying, we're hoping to see an end to this pandemic sooner than later. But in the meantime, in between time, what this has allowed us to do is reconnect with people that I've not seen in a while. In particular, this young lady who holds a special place in my heart. She was a student at Prairie View A&M University. Her final semester was my first semester at the school. And she told me what the program needed, right? Knowing that I come from working in the industry in Los Angeles, and I worked in Atlanta for a little bit. And I wanted to create something at Prairie View. I wanted to build on something there. And Tia Johnson told me exactly what the program needed, what the department needed. And I listened to her because I figured instead of trying to create what I wanted to create, I really needed to listen to and build what the students needed. And so for the better part of her last semester, Tia just gave me a lot of her time. We spent a lot of time sitting in the editing lab, sitting in my office, trying to figure out what would eventually become PVAMU-TV, giving the students an opportunity to create a professional experience in broadcast journalism, news anchoring, news reporting. And as soon as this young lady graduated from Prairie View, she landed a position in the field and currently works at WBAY Channel 2 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So it is my pleasure to introduce to y'all the person who, really has her fingerprints on the success of PVAMU-TV, and a proud daughter of the Hill, Tia Johnson. Welcome, Tia.
Hey, that was so cute and sweet. Thank you.
She said that was so cute and sweet. How you feeling? How you feeling this morning?
I'm good. I'm off today, so I'm just chilling.
Nice. Tell us, I'm gonna play your reel here in just a second, a brief clip of it so that the audience can see you in action. But tell us a bit about who you are and what you do in the world, and then I'll roll the footage.
Okay. Well, like Professor Dowell-Vest said, my name's Tia Johnson. I graduated from PV in 2017, so almost 3 years ago. Currently, I'm a reporter, MMJ, in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So this is my second TV news job. My first job was in Lufkin, Texas. I'm sure a lot of y'all don't know where Lufkin is. It's like if you know what SFA is in Nacogdoches, it's like 30 minutes from SFA. So I worked in Lufkin, Texas for a year, and then I moved to Green Bay. I've been in Green Bay for a year and a half now. And so, yeah, that's just kind of my life right now. I'm a girl from the South, and I'm all the way up north now where they don't have a lot of good food, and all they care about up here is the Packers. But that's just a little bit about me. When I went to PV, I started off as a nursing major, and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. So I switched to and then from it's just like I kind of saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Sorry, things just started rolling. I started getting internships, and then I say 6 months after graduating, I got into the news world. And at the time when I was at PV, and then when I was like graduating, there weren't a lot of people, that graduated from PV like in the industry. Like a lot of people were comm majors, but they were like becoming teachers or just kind of totally switching. There weren't a lot of people, at least that I knew, that were like in the industry, besides maybe like 2 to 3 people that I knew of. Well, now it's like, it's quite a few of us that's either like in TV or in radio. So I think that's pretty good that like, you guys can see like, hey, I'm at PV and there's people that was like in the same classes, same professors doing what I'm doing. And, they're in the industry now. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Talk to, and I know the students are going to jump on this after your lecture segment.
Mhm.
And so we'll circle back around certainly, but tell us a little bit about that process for you as you were about to graduate and you were looking for your first gig at, in Lupkin. Tell us about that process, that time period for you.
As like when I graduated or while I was in school?
A little bit of both. Like
Um,
that transition as you were about to leave, the safety net of Prairie View,
yeah.
and you were about to, strike out and having to make some decisions and choices and seek out the opportunities that would become, your livelihood. What was that period like for you?
It was stressful because I think we all can agree, a lot of schools have like a broadcast journalism program where the whole program is focusing more on like if you want to do radio, if you want to do film, if you want to do TV. And I don't know how the department has changed now, but like when I was in school, it was communication straight, and it was like a lot of writing and like different stuff that I didn't want to do, but I had to do to graduate. So I kind of fell behind because people that I was like up against going for the jobs, they had a lot of this experience in class where they had like news reports in class, or like a news show in class, or campus news, which is why, I talked to Professor Dowell-Vest about us, starting PVAMU-TV, because I felt like we needed to have those same opportunities. But it was stressful because like, there's hundreds, thousands of kids graduating at the same time as you, and they're trying to get those jobs that you're getting. And, it doesn't happen fast. So like I graduated spring 2017, and I think Jordan graduated like that next fall. Well, compared to like Jordan had offers before he graduated. I didn't. So like it's different for everyone. So it took me 6 months to land my first job. So like when I graduated, I was working at the YMCA, and I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, like I'm trying to get this job, and I was working at the Y. Like I had a degree, I was working at the Y, and I kind of felt like it wasn't going to come. And my news mentor was like, it'll come, it just doesn't come easy. Like just keep applying, keep working, keep saving money, whatever like that. And then it came. And then, going into now, it's been a big 360 or a big transition, I guess you'll say, because, PV is an HBCU. So I had teachers that looked like me. I had friends that looked like me. Everybody on the yard was Black, unapologetically Black, whatever. And then here I am in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the Black population is like 3% throughout the state. So I went from being at a college where everybody looked like me, everybody supported me, and now I'm here where like people look at you silly because you're Black, because they don't, it's so like amazing for them to see a Black person, let alone I'm the only Black person on air at my station. So it's been a few, I wouldn't say like hiccups, but just transitions from like becoming a college kid. Now I'm out in the real world. What is the real world like? Okay, now I'm out in the real world, but now I'm somewhere, 1,000 miles away from everybody, where I'm Black and nobody looks like me, nobody can relate to me. So it's just been a a lot of growth in between graduating and now.
Do we need to send you a care package? You need some Texas barbecue, some brisket.
I found my boss connected me to his next door neighbors, and they're from Charlotte. So I've
Oh,
been with them a lot since I moved here. So that gives me my fix that I need.
there you go.
Yeah, that was a big transition for me.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, tell you what, we are going to show a little bit of your reel so
Okay.
that people can see you in action. She mentioned Jordan, ladies and gentlemen, earlier in this piece just now in answering her question. Jordan Foster is also a PV alum. He's going to be joining us next week. Actually, no, he's going to be joining us Thursday. What am I saying? So I'm excited to see more of our alum. We're going to keep this series going in the fall and really tap into the network of alumni who are doing this work and are shining bright just like Tia is. So let me go ahead and do a screen share of Miss Johnson and show you a little bit of her reel.
Landed yet, but the anticipation in here is very high. Brown County Dispatch employees received 536 calls, and 30 of those calls were crashes that Green Bay police officers responded to. They're at a loss for words and just trying to understand it all because this community has never dealt with a loss like this. This is a stop sign on a road in the town of Mountain. It's covered by uprooted trees and ripped branches. The truck driver lost control of their truck, ended up spinning around and hitting the two people. No one inside Karen's home got hit, but her car did. And you can see the flat tire, marked strike 2, and the bullet hole, marked strike 2B. Many people I talked to are devastated after this tragedy, and a lot of them made special memories here in this historic building. You'll find this tree that was ripped in half. It fell into the power lines and the homeowner's car. As you can see, there's no fence guarding it, and they believe if there was a fence guarding this pond, Dylan might be here today. It's a full house at the Short Branch Saloon in Neenah, but you'll notice there's an empty spot where Kevin Hine used to sit. When they saw him walk in the door, in unison, everybody would say, Hollywood! Since getting the grim news, Conan says there's been a silence in the bar that even the music can't seem to break. The heart rate.
Yeah. Do they send you to cover happy occasions?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, that was amazing. And then there's more of it. And guys, feel free to go and explore more of Tia's work and her reel. My students, you have the link in the chat there for that particular reel. And certainly if you're watching, you can Google Tia and go to WBAY's website and see more of her work. Maybe we'll close and I'll find like some happier notes because my goodness, they send you on the natural disasters and the human disasters and the disasters. Have you become that rock for the community, for that network, so that when troubling things happen, it seems like you've become the comfort that they've turned to. Does that seem pretty accurate?
Well, I would say, like, as far as news, I'm a general assignment reporter, meaning that, like, I don't have a specific beat of what I report on. I mean, I don't do sports, but, like, if it's natural disaster, happy story, sad story, shooting, fire, whatever, you get sent. And that's for me and all of my coworkers. It's just a matter of, like, who we're sending. I would say, me personally, if I do go to a sad story, I try my best to make whoever I'm talking to feel better. That's me, though. I don't think that's like a news thing, but me, I feel like I use my platform as a way to still be there for people. So, like every day you're meeting someone new. It's a different story. It's a happy story. It's a sad story. But like if it's a sad story and I feel like the family is pretty like open about it, I'll like say, hey, like, can I pray with you? Or I'll just talk to them, or I'll like follow them on Facebook, some type of way to make them feel like I'm human too. And I'm not just using you for a story. Like I actually care. So I feel like me personally, I do that. But I mean, I don't know if other people do. It's not required, but that's what I like to do.
Yeah, you definitely have that grounded sort of nature when it comes to being a nurturing voice and being someone people can turn to, which then segues into my next question of how have you fared during this pandemic? And let's first focus on you. Like, how's your well-being? How's your health? How's your family? How are you faring during this time right now?
I mean, I'm good. I mean, I'm as good as can be. I'm by myself, in a sense, because I don't really have a lot of people here. But I just use like FaceTime, talk to my family. All of my family, they're well, they're doing good. Personally, it's a little frustrating and annoying, but I mean, things could be worse. So I try not to just harp on that, but it does suck, like my daily life and what I do for work has like completely changed, and it's still changing because of, COVID-19.
How are you covering the story for the news there? How are you broadcasting from your home? Watching some of the news here, we noticed that there's a balance of anchors working from home, reporters reporting from home, using a lot of their cell phones because perhaps, with social distancing, they're not working with, the crews being able to do a 2 or 3 person crew setup. How are you covering this for work?
I'm working from home, so my day looks like I wake up, we still have our morning pitch meetings, but they're through Zoom. So we talk to each other like, okay, what we're gonna do today? What's your idea? Whoop de whoop. Okay, Tia, this your story. And then depending on the story, I can do it from home. Like I'll do another Zoom interview. Like say I'll do an interview with you about what you're doing today. Like I'll log on Zoom, record this, maybe talk to you afterward, and I'll use my camera to record it, and maybe like talk to a student, use my camera to record it, put it together from my house. Some stories require you to like still leave the house. So like one story I did last week was these guys, they're like factory workers, but they're not can't think of it. Like they're closed, but they're making masks for people. So they're open. Well, in order to show them making the mask, like you gotta go. So I had to go do that. But then I still come back home and put stuff together. And also like if we go live now, I'm like going live from my living room. So I have a ring light. I put my phone on the tripod with the ring light, and I'm like talking into my phone, but I'm talking like live on air. And like my TV will just have like the station, like WBAY, First Alert Station or whatever on it. And I'm like literally going live from my living room. Like my living room is my office now. And like how I mentioned, every day you meet someone different and it's a different story. Where like right now, news is all COVID. Like
Yeah.
all things COVID. I have not done a story that's not COVID related. Every story has had something about COVID-19 in it. And so for me, that's been like the boring and frustrating part, because that's what I like about news. Every day is different. And every day has like not been different for the past month because everything is about coronavirus. So
Sure. Goodness. Okay, so y'all hear that, PVAMU-TV? You can broadcast from home. You can do the work from home. Professionals such as Tia Johnson is letting you know how she's doing it. And, it's important for those of us who work in the field of communication, whether it is in broadcast journalism, working as a reporter or an anchor, whether it's being a filmmaker, a writer, director, producer of creative works. It's our job to document the day. It's our job to let people know, what's happening. And not in my lifetime have we experienced anything like this. I mean, I do remember in 2009, 2010, the swine flu and, H1N1 during the Obama administration. But, we weren't like globally the sick and shut in. Like we weren't globally required to quarantine and stay home. I've never experienced this. And so it's our task to document these times, whether it's through broadcast journalism, through, narrative scripts and stories, through poetry, through, songs. However you want to document it is important that we do that. Okay, I am going to mute my mic, and Tia, I'm going to turn it over to you to
okay.
teach us the
So I don't have anything, too long. One thing that I wanted to share to make sure you guys leave with today is just to make sure you get those internship opportunities and hands-on experience. I mean, that will be my go-to advice for any college student, because if it weren't for the internships that I had once I switched my major to mass comm, I would have been clueless. Like I just didn't know how the news world was. I was looking at news from watching it, but living it is two different things. So I would encourage anybody to like just get those internships. If you want to do radio, I would do, a radio internship wherever you're from, try to do that during the summer or whatever. If you want to do news at PV, if you want to do news, like College Station has 2 news stations. I interned at KBTX for a full year. Like my senior year, I interned there my full year, and that helped me a lot. I think it's important to get those internships and have that hands-on experience because, for example, I graduated in May 2017, and then August was NABJ. So I went to NABJ like looking for a job, and like I don't know if you guys know about NABJ, but it's a big conference for Black journalists, and so they have like panels and like classes, but they also have a career fair where every company is there, even like the ABC, the Fox News, whatever, they're all there. They'll look at your work and give you feedback. So I went because people also get hired there. I actually got hired at this job I work now because of NABJ, but that's another story. So my first NABJ, I went, and this news director, he was like, "Did you shoot it? Did you write it? Did you edit it?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, I can't do anything for you because you don't know how to do what you need to come and work at my job." And that's the thing I did wrong. I had internships, but I wasn't like actively like doing what they did and learning. I just kind of like, when it was time for me to like showcase stuff, I just kind of like copied what the reporters did and was like, okay, here it is. I wasn't like learning how to write like that, using the camera that type of way, editing how they edit, So when I had this reel, like you guys just saw, it was just me copying someone else and putting it together. And so when it was time to like deliver the work, like, can you do this? It was like, no, I didn't do that. So that's why I would really emphasize on learning how to do it, just so when it's time for you to apply, like wherever you're going, whether it's radio, film, you're able to say, hey, I did this, and this on my own. This was my idea. I had these internships, but they taught me how to do, blase, blase, blase. So it would be like hands-on experience, internships, that's one. 2, I would say is networking. Networking is huge, like, and I'm not gonna even just say news anywhere, like it's all about who you know. And like NABJ is a great place to like network, but like I'll say news mentors that have been in other markets, that know other people, that connect me with this person, So like, for example, if I'm job hunting and I reach out to, Miss Dowell-Vest, say, Miss Dowell-Vest, I'm trying to get here. She'll be like, oh, well, I used to work there and now my ex-coworker works there now. So let me connect you, like it's good to, meet people. And I'm gonna call out Tatiana only because I've like conversed with her before, but she was interning at KPRC. And so I was like, make sure you stay in contact with those people, because just because they at the top, they started somewhere. They got an old news director in a market that you could go to when you fresh out of school. So like when you do these internships, learn what you need to learn, but stay connected with these people, because there'll come a time, if you intern in Houston, after 5 years, you ready to go to Houston. If you kept in contact with people that's still there, you can easily try to just, slide your way in. So networking is really good. And then networking goes into my third point with this, like having mentors. I think it is so important to have mentors in the industry that you want to get into. If it wasn't for the mentors I had, I would be clueless. Like I said, like I was clueless when I got my first job. And I had people that I was able to call and say, okay, like, how do I do this? They telling me do that. I don't want to look stupid in front of my boss. So what do I do? You know, and they were like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what, you know, this, that. Even as far as like when I got my contract, I had a mentor that read the contract for me. You know, these are people helping me out for free. I didn't have to get an agent or no one to review my contract because I had people who had been in the industry for a while that could like help me out, that still help me to this day. If I'm like, I'm doing this story, how do you think I should write it? What's the best way? They'll be like, oh, do this. Last thing I would say that I just thought about, whether it's, you know, film, radio, or news, watch the top dogs, you know, like for news, watch network news, watch CNN, ABC, CBS, you know, all of them, to learn what they're doing and to see how they write and their gestures and all that stuff. That's so important. Like even right now, that's feedback that people tell me, watch network news. How are they handling coronavirus? Like down to the point with what are they doing with their face masks? Are they reporting with their face masks on? Or are they on their chin? Like, you know, you watch to see how the top dogs are doing it. For radio, like listen to the Breakfast Club, 97.9 in Houston, you know, like just learn from the people that have been where you are. That's kind of like making it now. Yeah, and that's all I got. Just internships, have hands-on experience, you know, network, and having mentors to just guide you through that will, you know, help you.
Wow. Talk about a master class in about 5 minutes. Um,
Yeah.
thank you so much for all those nuggets. I want my students to open up their mics, but before the students open up their mics and jump in with their 5011 questions, I would like, if he doesn't mind, Dr. Derek Blackwell to open his mic and say hello. I know he was one of your teachers and mentors while at Prairie View, and he's on right now as well. He's probably going to be reluctant since, you know,
Hey.
he's got baby girl over there with him, but
Yeah. So excuse the background noise, but I appreciate you, Tia, for doing this. I had been working with Tia through LinkedIn, trying to get her to come or do something like this for my class this semester. And then with all that happened, this is something that kind of fell together, that you happened to invite her for this. So I said that works perfect. But yeah, this was good. As far as like questions or comments, let me see. I guess I'll ask, when it comes to the writing process that you have at your current station, can you talk a little bit about going from pitch to script, like what that process actually looks like, what technology you're using, what software you're using, those sorts of things?
Okay. So starting off on a normal day, if it weren't for COVID, you go into the station and we use EMPS. So they're able to like go in and say like, okay, Tia Johnson is doing a fight against breast cancer. It'll be at 4. You know, Dr. Blackwell is doing mass shooting. That'll be at 5. So EMPS, and I can like screenshot it maybe for you guys to see, but in there we have like a planner or whatever, like a day planner. You can go in and say who's doing what time or whatever. So from getting my story, like I'll pitch a story and they'll say like yay or nay, or they might have a story for me. You go out. And so one thing too is like, I'm an MMJ, so I shoot, write, edit. Like I'm my own camera woman. I get a photo talk sometime, like a photojournalist, but I shoot, write, and edit my story. So from there, I use, I think my camera is in here somewhere. I don't know the name of it. I think it's like a JVC camera maybe, but I shoot my video on that, shoot my video, do my interviews, all of that. I come back to the station and we use P2 Viewer. We have like our SD card. We put it into like this. So like this will be a card in my camera. Put it into this. It uploads to the computer, and then I get my clips. From there, we use Edius to edit our stuff. And then I write my script and everything in EMPS as well, which is the same thing we used to like assign stories out and stuff. And I like write it in and yeah, and then I just export from Edius, which is our editing software, to the show. It's just a way to like export it to the show, and then it's there. Now, all that has changed kind of since we've been working from home, but a normal shift is like that. So we use Edius to edit, and we use EMPS to like write our scripts and stuff.
So I'm going to grab a list of all the items that you've talked about, because, you know, since we received a Title III grant to enhance our mass comm program, you know, some of these tools we could, you know, incorporate into our program and get our students using some of this stuff ahead of time. So maybe, you know, after this talk in the next week or so, you can help me kind of compile a list of the resources you feel like would be beneficial to our students, to give them a head start on some of the. You used a lot of jargon though, sister. You know, we probably got some viewers that were like, she said MMJ and you know, all these other acronyms and stuff. Can you just, you know, quickly give us a rundown of what some of them means, so that, and students, if you're watching, write this stuff down, because again, we're going to start incorporating what Tia is telling us into our program.
So when you first get into news, depending on, okay, how do I frame it? Nowadays, to cut cost, they have, I just saw somebody say I was confused, but nowadays, like cut costs, to be honest, is to cut costs. Let me go back. Back in the day, you used to have a reporter that reported the news. They were on TV, they did the interviews, they wrote the script, and they went live. And then you had a photojournalist, which is like the cameraman. He would record the interviews for them, put it all together. He's recording you when you go live. That still happens today, but a lot of stations have MMJs, which is a multimedia journalist, meaning you do it all. So you go to the story, you get video, you get interviews, you record yourself too. So like if I'm doing something that I want to record myself, like I'll actually get the camera, stand behind the camera, turn the lens, make sure I look good, turn it back and record myself, go to the station, I put it together. So like I edit it, I write the story and all of that. So you don't have a cameraman. Basically an MMJ is me, you do it all by yourself. A lot of stations.
One person show. Yeah.
Yes. And so that means that deadline, so that 9, and let's say I'm in like the 4 o'clock. So I could be in a 4 o'clock newscast. I don't get an interview till 10:30. All that has to be done in by at least 3:50, depending on where I'm at in the show. So that a lot of stations are like that now, and honestly, it helps cut costs. Why pay for a cameraman and a reporter where I can just make Tia do it all? You know what I'm saying? So, and it used to be like the higher up you get, you will get a photog. Like that's one thing people look forward to. Like me now, I'm like, I can't wait till I get to a market where I can have a cameraman, you know? But a lot of the higher up markets are even going to MMJ and 2, especially because it's cheaper. And like with this coronavirus stuff, because like a lot of sales and ads aren't happening. I mean, like you don't know. That's a way that they cut costs, is to get rid of a cameraman, or what we call a photojournalist, and you MMJ. So like for anybody who wants to possibly get into news, I would, you know, think about, okay, this is something that I would have to do. You shoot, you write, you edit, and the pay ain't that good either until you like get to the top. That's just being honest. So that's kind of what it is.
So we recently saw an MMJ go viral when the journalist who was out in Montana with the bison, walking towards him, he was like, oh, no, I'm not messing with y'all. And he took his camera up, he loaded up all of his gear into the car. We experienced an MMJ at work in that moment.
And so for a lot of people, like, so with my boss, we have cameramen. So like I'm not MMJ, but if I need to go live, I will get a cameraman because of like the safety risks. So because if the camera is in front of me and I'm focusing, I don't know what's going on behind me. So like my boss still gives us like a cameraman for that. But some stations, I mean, just like that dude, you going live by yourself and you don't know what's going on because you focused in on that camera.
He wasn't playing. Okay, go ahead, students. Go ahead, students, and open up your mics and your cameras. And let's ask Miss Tia the questions you have on your mind.
Hey Tia, Latasia
Hey.
here. So I had a question. I like how you was dropping gems here and there, and I like what you said about the top dogs. Paying attention to people you want to be like. But I want to know something about you. I want to know what's one thing you wish you would have known before graduating from PV.
Besides the let me see. Dang. I mean, to be honest, the biggest thing for me was like the internships. Like I had, so I blah blah. I was at PV and I'm from Houston. So I was like going to class. Let's say I had class at 8, 9 or whatever. Then I'll go like to my internship. Then I'll come back to class. Or like if I have class till like 2, I was going to my internship from 6 a.m., leaving, then coming back to PV. Like I had the internships. I had an internship at Fox, had an internship at what is that station? I think 104.1. I've been out so long up here. I don't remember. I think it's 104.1. Like I had an internship at a radio station, and then I had an internship at the station in College Station. And like I was learning, but I was doing more watching than doing hands-on stuff. So when it came time to like really say, hey, I can do this, I couldn't. And I feel like that was like I did the internships. I was involved on campus, like I was with Ms. Dowell-Vest doing like trying to start PVAMU-TV, and I wrote for the paper, and I just feel like it was that hands-on experience. Like I feel like I was way behind because I didn't have that hands-on experience. And like other schools, like even TSU, they have like actual broadcast journalism where like that stuff I mentioned, like EMPS, like they're using stuff like that. They kind of already had used stuff like that, and I didn't. So that was to me the biggest thing. Like I feel like if I would have went in already knowing how to use the stuff instead of watching and like using it myself, it would have been, a lot better. Cause like honestly, I can't say I would have done anything else differently. To be honest, that was the one thing I was like, dang, I should have been a little more prepared on knowing how to do all of this on my own.
Wow. Good question. Great question, Latasia. Anyone else? Come on in. I think everyone's writing right now. There are about 15, 16 people in here, and I know they're taking notes and whatnot because they're
I'll ask
there
a
they go.
question.
Okay, come on.
Okay, so who are some of the people that you were kind of studying, like as far as reporters? Who are some of the reporters that you were studying as far as like mannerisms and how they were delivering news and how they were like, I guess, just basically like how they were delivering news,
Like
basically.
who do I watch?
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing people will start telling you is like, you look where you want to go. So like I'll watch ABC, I'll watch CNN, like just because it's network, whatever. I'm gonna watch them regardless how their mannerisms and stuff. But like I like to watch news where I want to go. Like my goal is to get back home one day for sure. And I don't know if that's where I'm gonna stop, but I want to get back home in Houston. So I follow a lot of the reporters or anchors like on social media. In Houston, I follow them to see like how they acting on their professional Facebooks. What are they posting on their Instagrams? And I also like watch their newscasts too, like to see how they're writing. Also too, kind of like how Professor Dowell-Vest mentioned, you can like go to like ABC 13. And I say ABC 13 a lot because like I grew up watching ABC 13 and KHOU. So like those are my top 2 faves. But you can go like, ABC13.com, type in a reporter and you'll see work they've done. And like I'll just go and watch. Especially when I first got in, I would just like anyone I knew of, I would watch. But like I said, like watch where you want to go. How are they dressing? How do they look? How are they talking? And I say that because like as I get more into the industry, that's what people say, like, where do you want to go? Okay, what do they look like? How are their hair? It's like how are they talking on air? What type of stories do they normally do? So you can make your reel cater to that, since that's where you want to go. And take notes. Like I still have a journal. When I first got my first job, I was just watching people and I was looking at their shots and like questions they asked and how they wrote stuff. And like, it's all in my journal. Like, okay, this shot, that shot, to the point where like even on my phone it's like news, and I'm like screen recording people because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this one day. I put it in my phone, so if I ever get the opportunity, like a story like that, I'm like, let me go back to my phone where I had somebody doing this story. Or I'm like writing little stuff they said. I have notes in my phone how they like kind of like wrote, you know, shooting today happened, or how they'll phrase it. I put it in my phone, so when I have the opportunity to use it, like I'm using it. So that would be my thing. Like, look at people where you want to go, like how they look on TV and how they're writing and all that stuff. That helps a lot. And then, you know, just as you watch news more, like as you watch ABC, ABC News or NBC or whatever, you'll find people that you just like, you know, and those are the people to watch. I follow them too. Now they don't follow me back. Like people at the top, they ain't following me back, but I like to see, you know, how they report, and I just like stalk them, honestly. Like I'm stalking their lives and stuff, because too, another thing, we live in a world now where like it's digital first. Like everybody is starting to do that. Like you have some news stations that are like hiring people for just digital news. Like you would just do something to put on social media or whatever and do digital news. And so I say that because social media is big. Like news directors look at that. Like, what's your social media presence? What are you doing on social media to like promote your story? Like, even if you guys started one and you're just promoting what you do on campus or whatever, like they look at that. So that's why I follow them on social media too, to just see like how often are they posting, how they wording things when they post, you know, like it's always something to learn. Like I know people in some top markets that tell me like they still watching people, like, cause it's just always something to learn. So I would say find someone you like and then watch them. One more thing too, if you guys have Instagram, if you just type like mine's is Tia Johnson on air. Like a lot of people will have like Stacey Combs on air or Dowell-Vest TV. Like if you just type TV, you'll see so many news people who have their names with TV at the end or like on air, something like that. You'll just see them. And like when I was in school, I just started following the heck out of people. And I was just watching them and I see where they work. Then I go to their station website and I'm watching their work just to learn, you know? So yeah.
We have a question on the live feed on YouTube. The question is there a specific beat you would like to cover?
As of now, no. When I first got into news, I wanted to do entertainment news. I don't really like entertainment news anymore because like as I've grown as a person, I don't really like to know people's business and mess. So I really don't want to do entertainment news because you got to keep up with people. I like news, you know, like when I first got into it, I felt like this is too sad. It's going to be too much. I ain't going to like it, but I like it. Like I would want to just work for like ABC News and be on Good Morning America, like just traveling, reporting news happening. And that's not a beat. It's just whatever is going on big in the world.
Sure. We're going to have another PV alumna on Thursday, Lamaya Harvell, who graduated in December from Prairie View. She works for ABC 7 in Amarillo, and she is also she's an MMJ for them, as well as an entertainment reporter for that particular affiliate. So we'll ask her, how does she feel about covering entertainment news and that sort of thing as well, and refer back to Miss Johnson's answer here. Does anyone else have any final questions before we sign off and let this woman go and cover the news of the day in Green Bay, Wisconsin? Anyone else?
I have a question.
Go for it, Tatiana.
So my question is, you know, things are really strange right now. And just like I lost my internship because of the COVID-19, I know a lot of students were looking forward to summer internships for the news and stuff like that. So what would you say in these final months left of this semester for us and then going into the summer? What would you say for us to be doing now that we can't really enter stations? We can just kind of like do stuff on our own, but what's your advice for that? Like, what should we be doing in the meantime?
I would say make those moments for yourself. It's not hard to you know, well, you guys aren't in school, so I'm sure you probably don't have cameras, but it's not hard to, like, you can write a package off your phone, you know, like iMovie, it's on the iPhone, you can shoot off the iPhone. Like, I've shot stories off my iPhone, and you can use iMovie to put together. Like, I would say, just don't let this happening stop you from making those moments for yourself. If you can do a stand-up off your phone, have somebody hold the phone for you, and you just say, like, something's going on, you know, whatever, still come up with something to have or to get some practice in. Yeah, like, you can still do that stuff, you know, without an internship. An internship is best because you get the help from, you know, reporters and all that stuff. But if you can find a way to still, like, record some stuff on your own, off your phone, like you're doing news or something, go for it. You know, just don't let COVID stop you from doing what you want to do. Just how with news, it was like, okay, how can we make this better? Let's go live from the house. You know, like, you just got to find a way to do what you want to do. And it's hard because you got to be creative, but, like, that's what news directors, that's what management like. Somebody that can, like, turn a negative into a positive. It's like, how are we going to do this? You know, just how, let's see. So, like, for my station, we just have, like, I put, like, a USB in the TV, and that's the station's logo. So if you have, like, PVAMU-TV's logo, I would, like, screenshot that bad boy, somehow put it on your computer, transfer it to USB. If you have a smart TV, you can plug that up in your TV, that'd be your backdrop. And you could just, like, say something from your house, like you're anchoring, you know, come up with something or see something that someone else did, like on their reel on YouTube or a news channel, and, like, just read it and save it, have that for your reel or something. Just still try to make those opportunities available for yourself in some kind of way.
Thank you.
No
Great
problem.
question. Before we go, Ms. Tia, I want to do a screen share of PVAMU-TV's website, and just, you know, overall, we have multiple shows that we cover. We cover sports. We have a roundtable talk show that's very much like The View, or even Red Table Talk. We have a political debate show called Topicality, where we're looking at the political topics of the day. But our jewel in the crown is our Panther News Network, which is our news show. And again, you really do have your fingerprints on the success of the show. They're going to continue to create content and produce. We have our budding anchors and reporters that bring us the news, and who really are following in your footsteps and aspire to do the work that you're doing. I'm just going to hit play on this just briefly and jump forward a little bit.
Nope, it was one beer. How did you get home? I don't remember. How'd you get there? I portrayed himself as a hardworking, self-made man to become the billionaire that he is today. But is he self-made or self-taught to scheme? Trump has claimed to have manifested his own success without any financial help from his father, New York City builder Fred C. Trump.
So I'll just stop there because we're going to go ahead and sign off. But I just wanted to show that you are definitely an inspiration to our students. You're an inspiration to our program. We will continue to turn to you as someone that can help us continue to grow and build our program. I will be following up certainly for some of the resources you mentioned in this conversation. And I know our students are so much taller for the experience of spending time with you today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And the PVTV network was live. That's cool.
Thank you. We're gonna continue to make you proud, sister. All right, y'all. Come back at 2:30 today. 2:30 today, we have Kristen V. Carter. She is a producer, a writer, and a creative entrepreneur. She has figured out so many different ways to get what she wants by creating her own opportunities. She understands the business side of the industry. We've talked to a couple of producers already, and this woman is going to give us yet more information on how to seek out projects, seek out funding, and seek out ways to make whatever it is you want to make happen. So come back at 2:30. And then at 4 o'clock today, we have Erica Ringor, the Sidra O'Neill from Love and Basketball, a longtime friend of mine. We went to school together at Cal State Long Beach, and we've worked together on a couple projects. And I'm just stoked because I know some of my students are geeking out that, you know, they're going to be able to talk to Sidra. Yeah, there's so much more to that woman, and she's going to share with us also her wisdom and how she's navigated the entertainment industry for over 20 years now. All right, so that's it. Thank you all. We're going to sign out and come see us this afternoon. Bye.